Greetings, welcome back to Amos Seed and Feed. And today is going to be the introduction of the new series that we're going to go over called Adoption. And it's been a little while since we met the last time. There's been some things that have occurred between then and now. Like for instance, you notice I don't have any glasses. I've actually had cataract surgery in both eyes. June was the first one and December was the second one. So now I'm able to stand here before you without any glasses. And then I've also been working on this series. It's been an endeavor that I've been working on for a little while. I'll explain that in just a minute. But then I've also been looking at the series we just completed, The Fabric of Christianity, looking to see what I need to do or how I need to prepare the information from that series and put it in the book form so it would be available to people who wish to read it and actually work on maybe a workbook to actually go through that information. But that brings us back to what we're talking about here with adoption. The topic of adoption, we actually covered it back in August of 2020 when we began this series, The Christian Alphabet, and A being the first letter, we talked about adoption. We went through it in pretty good detail. After that lesson, a friend of mine, Dr. Kent Prayne, he actually looked at the video and brought back some feedback with regards to what that lesson was like and whether or not it was something that was on the right mark. He was just kind of spot checking to see how things looked. And he actually expressed to me that it was really good as I taught the tradition about adoption, which made me start thinking about the fact, okay, he actually suggested that I actually go back and look at the topic of adoption again and just rehearse those things that I know, but also look more deeply to see what I can find with regards to adoption. And so basically the lesson fell short. Wasn't that it's totally wrong. It just was not up to the standard that it needed to be to properly teach that particular topic. And this is a perfect example. I'm not exempt from it. No one's exempt from it. As we study, we learn more. We have people that we trust and they give feedback and they help us in helping us to stay the course that we need to be on. And if we go to Proverbs chapter 27, verses 17, it reads, "Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend." So in other words, it's not bad to get feedback. It's actually really good because my friend, he's a trusted source of biblical information. For him to give me that feedback is actually a great help to me in my own personal life. There again, this is a great example of what the continuing learning we have within our lives. We may have one understanding one day, but then as we begin to study more, it enhances that understanding. And so this feedback I took very seriously. And so I actually did a more in-depth study. And the way I did that was I actually did it kind of like a science project that kids do in school. We can actually do it here in the Bible level as well, or the Bible environment. And I've done it many times before where I actually disregard any preconceived ideas I have on a topic. And then just bringing it out at face value, I go ahead and submit a hypothesis as to what I think the answer is. But then you go back and do the experimentation. You look at words, you look at verses, you look at context, you look at history and all those things. And that's exactly what I did with the topic of adoption, actually starting over. And what it did was it did reinforce some of the things that were taught before, but it also brought forward more things that I had not necessarily been fully aware of. And so I'm very grateful for my friend to actually bring this to my attention so that I can actually learn more about adoption and be able to share that with you in this lesson or this series that we're going to have on adoption. So we're going to look at it from the standpoint that adoption is only mentioned 5 times in the Bible. And all 5 times it's the Apostle Paul. Paul was using adoption as an illustration because it was well known to his audience. So what we're going to do on this approach of the series is we're going to go answer some questions. The who, what, where, when, and why. Who was Paul writing to? What was adoption in the first century? Where was adoption used? When was adoption necessary? And why was adoption important in the first century? We're going to take and answer all of these questions from history, what it was like in the first century, but also biblically, what each piece means. But then we're going to study all the word locations within the New Testament as to what adoption means within those 5 locations. And then from that, we should have you and me, we should have a more full understanding of what adoption is spiritually to us as Christians and what it means to us as children of God. So I'm looking forward to seeing you in this series and looking forward to sharing what I've learned with everyone so that they may also be more aware of what adoption really means biblically, but also how to apply it to our lives and how to be a more effective Christian through this process. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Take care and have a great day.